All right, the Poacher is back. I've been on a hiatus for quite a bit. I honestly think since like Champions League, like during the group stage. So took a little hiatus. A lot of things. Life got in the way, but definitely glad to be back with the summer of football on the way. That is currently on this side of the world, the Gold Cup and the Club World Cup. So the Club World Cup, I'll go over some recaps on another video, but we'll go over so far what's going on in the Gold Cup currently right now. So we had pretty much two games as of now, right? And that is Mexico against the Dominican Republic. That happened last night, 3-2 results. Mexico, like I said, it's expectations was Mexico to win. I think, majority of, El Tri fans expected like a 5-0 shellacking or 6-0 based on the talent pool of the Dominican Republic, but it was a 3-2 game. It was quite a watch, to be honest with you. I think if you're any Mexican fan, it's kind of nerve-wracking and frustrating, but they got the 3 points. That's where it mattered in this particular case. So with 62% of possession that Mexico had compared to 38 Dominican Republic. And again, I think a lot of people have to keep in mind that it's an opening game of a tournament. The most important thing is to get the 3 points, right? You can win, 10-0 like Bayern did today in their game, or you can win, 1-0 at the very last second. The 3 points is what matters in this case, and Mexico took care of business at SoFi Stadium. So you look at the U.S. game today. It was down the road where I live. I live in San Francisco, and it was down the road here in San Jose. So they won 5-0 today on that. So I think, you really think about where the state of the team was at this particular point in time. I think a lot of people were kind of curious how they're going to start this Gold Cup. They had 4 straight losses, 2 friendlies that looked really bad. I think in Switzerland they were down 4-0 at the half. But you look at the team, they came out today, they came out with force, with energy, opening of a tournament, right? So the most important thing to get the 3 points, and they got going quite early with that, starting in the 16th minute with Tillman with the goal, and then he added another one the 44th minute prior to Luna. I think Luna scored or deflected off somebody to make it 3-0, and then you look at the other 2 goals in the second half, it kind of looked like more of an exhibition at the end of the day, and the U.S. got all 3 points needed to get the victory and looking good for the Gold Cup here. And I feel like, with, like I said, it's just like the state of the team right now, like they're going through some type of weird, like, I'm not say hiatus, but I think you could say like the hype compared to this time last year's died down based on their Copa Oro exit alongside, just bad results. So I feel like, this Gold Cup, you look at the team that's, put together, I would say most likely that's like a BC roster that we're looking at. And I think it's more Pusacino trying to figure out maybe like 2 or 3 guys. I'll make the final roster next summer coming up. I know we'll see what happens to the whole Christian Pulisic drama right now. You have him taking a hiatus, which like kind of reminded me of Landon Donovan doing that in 2013, and he ended up not going to Brazil. And I think a lot of it at the time was Klinsmann saying that, hey, you have to consistently be on the team and performing on the team, and it kind of has that same vibe, but the difference is Christian Pulisic is a whole lot better player than Landon Donovan was at that point in his career. Alongside, he is extremely vital to the team's success. And I think if there's one takeaway that we learned from the Landon Donovan episode was that we needed him in Brazil, especially after Josie Altidore went down in the first 14 minutes of that World Cup. Even though the U.S. advanced to the next round, you needed another forward that can have the experience to score. And so I think as a U.S. supporter, you just hope that they work out what differences they have, with that. And, hopefully going towards next summer, the team can be, hitting all cylinders, considering they're not playing as many competitive matches going towards next summer. So that's where I think where the U.S. needs to be. With that, I think you're looking at the tournament. You look at the group that they're playing in. They have Saudi Arabia in the group alongside with Haiti. I think right now at this time of this recording, Saudi Arabia is up in their game 1-0. But I do feel like Haiti might be the same type of game that you're looking at compared to Trinidad and Tobago. I think Saudi Arabia might be a little bit better test. It is a team that's been to the World Cup numerous times, that they have the experience, that they could give this U.S. team quite a go. So that is some good games coming up pretty soon. But I know, like, it's how funny I say this is the FIFA Club World Cup is definitely taking over the hype this summer in the U.S. And granted, so with teams like PSG, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Palmeiras. You look at Boca Juniors, River Plate. There's so many good teams in this group that it's hard like not to watch that competition, which I think is quite exciting. It's kind of like a good way to replace the Confederations Cup that had like kind of the dress rehearsal prior to the World Cup coming up. But I think for the U.S., on this particular take, they played well enough to win. That's the best way. Well enough to win in these type of things, and we're looking forward towards their next match coming up. And again, we'll look into that. All right, everyone. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the games coming up. I'm going to be and go watch. I guess it's I think Seattle Sounders are playing right now. But other than that, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.